Well, I mean, I think it goes back to what you view the United States of America as. Do you view it as a shell company, a holding company for the vested interests of the globalist ruling class, where children need to be raised from day one, how they can become the best maximizers of profit and value for corporations that to their core hate this country? Or are they human beings, right, chosen and birthed and come into this world by the hand of God, who should be allowed to, I don't know, engage in sports, have a life outside of being an indentured servant, like so many of these HB1 or their spouses on the H4 visas, the lives that they live. Again, no shade to them. I'm sure you and I are enterprising people. We would be doing the same thing. But the idea that American people have to compete with essentially modern day slaves in order to quote unquote be successful is offensive, and it's wrong. And if you want to do that, fine, go do that in another country that's not the United States of America. The founding fathers were the founding fathers because they appreciated individual liberty and freedom, and they had other things going on in their lives. They loved the idea of community and culture and township and kinship, not the idea that it was all about boosting profits for, I don't know, the British Empire. Insert the new tech oligopoly into that sort of matrix, that critique there. But it's so insulting. And Steve, to the core of it, it's also just a bald-faced lie that I reject the premise, right? When you look at the data, which, like I said, is not readily available, these foreign workers that they're importing, even if job culture were bad, are not even better, right? I mean, seriously, when you look at the numbers, since before President Trump took office, Steve, 72% of STEM engineers that have been hired in Silicon Valley under the age of like 46 or 50 are foreign born. Over half of American STEM graduates will never work in STEM fields. And the people who are involved on the sick, awful, sinister side of the dark side of this trade, this IT staffing companies, they know it. The CEO of Emphasis admitted in 2016 there are enough universities, enough ability to hire, enough ability to teach from the United States of America. That's a direct quote. And when they did a whole analysis, when they were able to get some comparative review between American workers in terms of literacy, their ability to understand numbers and code and all of that, which, like I said, are numbers that are not readily available. There's a chart you can put up on screen. Domestic workers outpaced the foreign-born ones by every single measure, in some cases many times over. And by the way, Steve, when you look at who they're importing, 83% of the people that they're importing, for at least for the H-1B category, are all condemned to below the 50% mark of what the average American tech worker makes. So spare me the idea that we're importing the best and the brightest. And when you amortize it, when you look at it in terms of levels of skill, only 6% of the H-1Bs that they're importing fall under the quote unquote fully competent level per GAO analysis. So the idea that because I had sleepovers when I was a kid, therefore renders me eligible to be replaced by someone who doesn't speak English, doesn't know the code, and is probably lying and is part of a visa system that is used for human trafficking and child trafficking and labor abuses and horrific crimes that are a stain on this country, is absolutely insulting on so many levels, not just by Vivek, but by the big business interests on both sides who are pushing it. And you're seeing it today. And I'll bring Will in if I can with this just idiotic, I guess you're now allowed to say the word retarded, but I'll use it, this retarded Dignity Act that's co-sponsored and led by Republican Maria Salazar, who's the worst.